All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. We'll give it a couple seconds to allow for other participants to filter into the room. I want to make sure that I broadcasted it correctly.
If we don't have participants in here, we still go?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe give it another minute.
That's fine. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, because it is being recorded and will.
That's what I thought.
All right, you want to get started?
Absolutely. All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to check out St. Bonaventure. To start, I will introduce myself. My name is Katie Crotty. I'm an admissions counselor here. I recruit locally, and I also help with a few other territories. In the meantime, I've got Western PA, Ohio, the southern and western parts of the country, DC, Maryland, Virginia, and then, like I said, again, locally. And I'll let Duran introduce himself before we get started.
Hi, everyone. Happy to have you all here today. Wish we could all be meeting in person or at an actual college fair, but with everything going on, this is the safest way for us to kind of operate. So like Katie was saying, my name is Duran Wells. I am an admissions counselor at Bonaventure as well. I recruit from Eastern Pennsylvania and then all of New Jersey. I also graduated from Bonaventure last year, so kind of fresh out still trying to hold on to my youth as much as possible.
Thanks, Duran. All right, I will share my screen. All right, Duran, can you see my screen okay? Is it the presentation?
Don't see anything yet, Katie.
Okay, now.
There we go, perfect.
All right, thank you. Okay, so to start, St. Bonaventure is located in Western New York. We are about an hour and 15 minutes south of Buffalo. So not too far from Erie, PA, Rochester, like I said, in the southern tier of Western New York. So to start, you will see on the screen a lovely aerial shot of our campus. St. Bonaventure sits on about 500 acres of land, and what we've got on the screen is the main hub. So everything's pretty walkable. You guys don't have to walk super far if you have to wake up early for classes. Everything, I would say, was like within a 5 to 7 minute walk. So next, who we are. Everyone at St. Bonaventure makes up an incredible community, and it is a place that I am so proud to be a part of. I myself did not graduate from St. Bonaventure, but I did start my grad program this fall, and I can't wait to put on my resume that I am a graduate of here. At St. Bonaventure, we nurture compassion by showing unconditional love. We seek wisdom. We think that education here should be transformative of the whole person. So you're going to receive an education that's not only going to give you those practical and marketable skills, but you're also going to be given the tools to love each other more deeply and then build integrity. You'll see on the screen a couple stats. We've got about 2,400 students on campus for our total enrollment. There's 50 majors and 46 minors, which I'll go into in a few other slides. 12-to-1 student to faculty ratio. 20% higher graduation rates than the national average, and then 97% of our graduates are employed or move on to graduate school within 6 months of graduating. And my presentation's to the side here, so sorry if I keep looking off to the side, everyone. History, so we were founded in 1858. We've been here for a long, long time. We are the nation's first Franciscan university. And the first class, I read this today, the first class graduated in 1860 of only 15 students. So we've definitely grown since the 1800s. I'll move on though. I know history isn't the most fun. So what is Franciscan? Franciscan is a form of Catholicism. So we are a Catholic private school. Franciscans live their life focused on God through service. So we really value service here at St. Bonaventure and giving back. So, you know, charity, benevolence, selflessness is a huge part of being a Franciscan. We do have friars on campus, and I know a few of my colleagues have described the friars as crunchy hippies, which is a pretty unique way of describing them. And while we are a private Catholic school, only 50% of our students are actually Catholic. So if you do want to get involved in university ministries, you're absolutely welcome to, but it is not forced upon our students at St. Bonaventure, which I think is really nice. There are masses on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sundays, but again, it's not required to attend. And if you do want to get involved in university ministries and you aren't Catholic, that is totally fine. They welcome students of all different backgrounds, spiritual backgrounds, and to get involved in service learning or any other social action or community building experiences. So next, I'm going to talk a little bit about value. I know when you hear value, a lot of times you'll think money, but value is more than just cost here. So we've been given some pretty cool titles. Number 2, best value in New York State. Number 3, best value in the North. We are ranked 19th out of 179 best regional universities in the North, and number 9 in the North for best colleges for veterans. So what does value mean? We not only are affordable, but we give you guys an incredible education and experience here at St. Bonaventure. So you saw this stat on the previous few slides that 97% of our students are employed or in graduate school within 6 months of graduating. That's huge. It took me almost a full year, maybe year and a half, to find a job after I graduated from college. So the fact that you're almost guaranteed success when leaving Bonaventure is great. 90%, I think, or 9 out of 10 of our students would choose St. Bonaventure again. Another great stat. If you asked me if I would choose the college I went to again, I probably wouldn't. And you're going to be a part of an incredible alumni network when you leave here. So we have alumni that will bend over backwards for current Bonnies. So you're going to have the education, the people to back you up to make sure that you're successful once you leave St. Bonaventure. So these are the academic programs I mentioned. We've got 50 majors and those 46 minors. I will not read these all and bore you, but you can find this full list on our website if you choose to look further into what we've got to offer. So to start, we've got our School of Arts and Sciences. This is our largest and most diverse school on campus, and it serves most of the general education curriculum and our honors program. So we've got 16 different departments in here, and we highlighted a couple of our new and more interesting majors. So to start, there's criminology. That's a degree you might want to study if you're interested in law enforcement and government. They study the anatomy of crimes, the causes, consequences, and costs. Then we've got cybersecurity. Our students can learn how to detect, investigate, and prevent any technology-related crimes. And this is closely aligned with our computer science program. So you'll also be taking some computer science courses. And then there's a master's program as well for our cybersecurity program if you're interested. Behavioral neuroscience. This combines psychology and biology, and it emphasizes the brain and our behaviors. We've got pre-med, which is really cool. That's also known as our Franciscan Healthcare Professions programs. Those include MD program, a DO, dentistry, PT, and pharmacy. And then there is the Center for Law and Society that prepares students for law school. I know that's not on here, but I'd like to highlight that. And then there's MAP, which is Major Adventures Program. And this is one that I think is really important because it's for our undecided students. I know making this decision to choose what you want to do for the rest of your life is a big decision to make at 18. So if you aren't sure what you want to do, that is totally fine. Do not feel pressure to declare a major before you enroll in school. It is okay to be undecided. I changed my major 4 times in college, and I wish more than anything I would have started as undecided. I ended up taking a lot of courses that really didn't go towards a degree. I had to pay for them. So if I would have gone in as undecided, I might not have spent a lot of time taking those classes. So just remember, don't feel the pressure to declare a major. You don't have to declare a major at St. Bonaventure until your sophomore year. So you've got time to explore. And as an undecided student, you're in this Major Adventures program. You will be able to work closely with our Career and Professional Readiness Center. They can offer career counselors for you to help you figure out what it is you might want to do. You'll get to work with advisors who have demonstrated excellence in the area of working with students who are undecided. So you'll get extra resources if you choose to enroll as an undecided student. Next is our School of Health Professions. This was created in 2016, so it's relatively new, and it builds upon our existing science and pre-health programs. So this is a great school to get into if you're interested in doing anything health related. There's health science, public health. We've got an RN to BSN program. There's a PA program that's starting this coming spring, and then OT, which is starting in the fall. And these programs are going to be housed in Francis Hall, which is a building on campus that was recently renovated. So our students are going to be working with state-of-the-art, brand new equipment, a beautiful building. So if you guys are interested in health professions, I definitely recommend visiting campus so we can show you those spaces. Next, we've got the School of Business. And I'm going to start right off with our accreditation, the AACSB accreditation. I believe only 5% of business schools worldwide have this accreditation. So we are ranked as one of the best business schools worldwide. I just said that. But within the business program, we have got accounting, finance, marketing, management, sports management. And each of these programs allow for hands-on learning opportunities. We've also got a 4+1 accounting, BBA, and MBA programs that students can get involved in. So our School of Business is located in the Swan Business Center. It is a relatively new building. It was built in 2013, and it was built 100% on alumni donations. So again, that just kind of goes to show how incredible our alumni are at giving back to our students. One thing that's super cool about this building is the classrooms are built to model Fortune 500 companies. So our students in the business programs and classes are going to get familiar with working in the environments that they're learning in. Some of the hands-on clubs that you can get involved in that I like to highlight, there's SIM, which is Students in Money Management. Students get to manage a real investment portfolio. There's the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, I think, club you can get involved in, and that's where students can help prepare taxes for the local community. So those are just a couple cool things our students can do within the business program. Next, there's the Jandoli School of Communication. After changing my major 4 times, landed on communications. But we've got some pretty cool alumni coming from the Jandoli School. We've got alumni at ESPN. We've got the CEO of SiriusXM. He's a Bona grad. There are 6 Pulitzer Prize winners. So you will be among some of the greats if you choose to do the Jandoli School of Communication. You'll see on the screen, again, 6 of the majors within the school: broadcast journalism, media studies, strategic communication, sports media, and video production. And then there are 400 hours of a required internship within these programs. So lots to put on a resume by the time you finish here. There are lots of ways to get involved on campus for this school as well. There's the Bonaventure, which is our newspaper. There is SBU TV and The Buzz. The Buzz is consistently ranked within the top 5 college radio stations. And then our students also have the opportunity to broadcast our basketball games on ESPN Plus. So again, just going to show you're going to get tons of hands-on experience. So important to have that stuff to put onto a resume by the time you reach your senior year, because it'll help you nail those jobs and get those internships if you need them. All right, lastly, we have got the School of Education. So there are 8 undergrad programs within this school. There's adolescent education, childhood education, early childhood, inclusive education, which is also known as special education. We've got physical education and sports studies. We require 1,000 hours in practicum sessions, so that starts your freshman year. By the time you're ready to student teach your senior year, you are going to be more than prepared, more than comfortable in a classroom. And we have been ranked as one of the top 25 innovative teacher education programs. So our students are more than comfortable and familiar with the technology that is used within the classroom. And I think with that, I quickly went through all those programs. Again, if you guys have questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to myself or to Ron, since we're going to be recruiting in Pennsylvania. But I will turn it over to Duran to talk about some of the fun things that Bonaventure's got to offer.
Thank you, Katie. So to start off, Katie talked a little bit about the CPRC, which you see here. So CPRC stands for the Career and Professional Readiness Center on campus, and they do a lot. So just to start with a couple of things that you're seeing on your screen right now, the EDGE program. So the Competitive EDGE Certificate is something that requires you to go through a few different series, some lectures, a few presentations, but the idea of it is to really set you up for the professional world. So to kind of create that identity as a professional as soon as possible at Bonaventure. So like I said, they'll do things like have alumni or business owners, CEOs come onto campus, give you some lectures. They'll have etiquette dinners so that you can figure out how to cut your steak properly when you're at a business meeting. I have done those things plenty of times, and I still don't think I know how to cut them properly, but not important. At least they taught me. I just didn't remember. And then to the right of that, you'll see Handshake, which is what we use to post all of our jobs and different things that we have going on campus, where students can apply directly for different opportunities using that platform. And another cool thing that we do with Handshake is we kind of open it up to different members of the Bonaventure community. So alumni, people who are just associated and supportive of the university will post internships and job opportunities on there first, so that Bonaventure students can see it and kind of get the first run at it. One thing that you will come to learn about Bonaventure is that we really take advantage of our small campus size. So what Katie was talking about in the beginning, with that number just over 2,400, we really use it to our benefit. And I'm saying this as if I am back in undergrad, but we're a very spoiled bunch here at Bonas, which is amazing. The CPRC also, like Katie was saying, works hand in hand with the advisors you'll have in that MAP program. So kind of figuring out what you're interested in, and they'll open up those different doors and those opportunities for you to figure it out in an experiential way. Next slide, we will talk about student life. So this is that fun part that Katie was talking about. So another cool thing about Bonaventure is everyone gets involved with something, whether it's something that you've done in high school that you want to continue in college, whether it be a sport, a social club, an academic club. Everyone finds something. Or like I said, if it's something that you want to try that's new, you have the opportunity here. So you'll see here, 80% of our student body participates in, like I said, those intramural, those club sports, or recreation center activities. So we have over 75 clubs, organizations, intramural, and club sports. There are so many, and it's unbelievable. Every semester at the start of the fall semester, we will do a club and organization fair. And normally we do it outside, but depending on the weather, we might have it in our recreation center. But all the clubs on campus will set up tables, and it's just like a sea of people that are just so hyped and so excited to tell people about what they're doing on campus. I recommend that every student goes to that, and then they sign up for whatever club really calls to them, and begins to kind of explore those things. It's a great way to get to meet people right out of the gate and find your group almost immediately. Another cool thing that we have at Bonaventure that's kind of geared towards student life and making sure that the Bonnies we have on campus are enjoying themselves is first year experience. I actually did 2 of the 3 dots on this point here. So SBU 101 was slightly different when I was a student here, but it's pretty much just something that teaches you about Bonaventure. So the lingo, what we call certain buildings, who certain people are on campus, where you need to go to get certain things done. So if you need to hand in something to declare a second major, going to the registrar's office, who is the registrar? And then peer coaching. Peer coaching is pretty much the beginning of your first year at Bonaventure. You'll get a letter from an upperclassman. I was a peer coach. I was the person sending out these letters, and it's pretty much just saying that we're here to help you. So we'll meet up a few times during the fall semester. I'll help you register for classes. I'll help you find out where your classes are going to be. I'll go sit with you and eat pizza in the dining hall with you if you'd like. So that's just some of the few things that peer coaches will do for you, and then they'll just be there for you throughout your time at Bonaventure as well. And then the last thing under first year experience is CORE. So that's our Collegiate Opportunities to Reach Excellence program. I actually taught one of these classes my first year of grad school here, and it's pretty much just to provide you with some extra support. So let's say you're not really grasping some material, which happens to all of us at some point throughout our academic careers. That's where you'd go to kind of figure out what you need and find the resources, again, that are there to support you. And all of these things, the clubs, the activity level on campus, first year experience, all go towards that last number that you see there, that 84 freshman to sophomore retention rate. So how many students are coming in for that first year and they're like, you know what, Bonaventure is the place for me. And then they're coming back again for their sophomore, junior, and senior year. Or if you're like me, coming back for sophomore, junior, senior year, grad school, to work, doing it all. Like Katie was saying earlier, we are big on service here. So there are a few different organizations on here that do a lot on campus, but we have so much more than this as well. We do service on campus, in the surrounding communities, and all over, both the country and the world. So examples here you can see around the world: Embrace It Africa, on campus and in the area, Bona Buddies. I'll talk a little bit more about what Bona Buddies is. It's very similar to a big brother, big sister, little brother, little sister kind of mentorship program. And students in the area, younger students, will come on campus and hang out with some of our students at Bonaventure. So they'll do things like go to the Richter Center, they'll play on the soccer, lacrosse field, go to the basketball court, they'll hang out, they'll design and draw all over the sidewalks on campus. And then they'll go hang out, they'll eat. It's just kind of a way to escape and have a little bit of fun with some college kids that are dedicated and really passionate about giving back to where they are. Bona Responds is another place that gives back to the surrounding communities and places around the country as well. They literally do exactly what's in their name. They respond to things, whether it's a natural disaster or someone who just came across some unfortunate time. So one example I can think of is, let's say someone is in a wheelchair and they don't have the necessary accessibility to get into their home. Bona Responds will go and build a ramp to get into their house. Those are just a few different things that some of these clubs do. And then I'll talk about 2 more. I promise we can go to the next slide. But these are just so important to Bonaventure and so important to me as a person here. I just love to talk about them. So one of 2 is MERT, the Medical Emergency Response Team. And students involved with those are mostly science majors, but it's open to anyone who's interested. So you'll be certified as an EMT, and you have a huge responsibility, and you're such a great help to the university. So let's say someone gets hurt in the Richter Center playing basketball. I'm picking this example because it happened to my freshman roommate. Someone will call and say, all right, this person needs help. Security will alert one of the MERT officers, and you'll get a page. It's kind of a loud buzz on your walkie-talkie, but you'll go with security and you're the first one there. You're assessing the situation. Does this person need to go to the hospital? You're taking kind of those first kind of moments of triage, and you're getting all that information and kind of making sure that the situation is being dealt with appropriately. So it's a great way for students who are interested in going into the medical field to kind of get that hands-on experience right on the gate. And that's something, just like all these other clubs that we're talking about right now, are open your freshman year. So you can really get on top of those things as soon as you come to Bona's. The last one I will talk about is the warming house. This one is super special to my heart. I have volunteered there a lot. The warming house is a soup kitchen that Bonaventure owns, just maybe 2 or 3 miles into town. Students are completely in charge. So students will plan the meals, cook the meals, serve the meals, eat the meals with the people who are using this resource, and kind of just get to know that the people that we are so close by, who our university is literally smack in the middle of their hometown. So it's really nice to be able to be a part of these different organizations and give back in such huge ways. Thank you, Katie. And this slide, Res Life. So I also worked in Res Life when I was here. Had a lot of jobs. CPRC helped me out a lot. I'm thinking about all the money I made that I don't know where it is now, but at least I had some job opportunities when I was here. So Bonaventure has a few different, not a few, a lot of different options for where you can live. So we have anything from singles to doubles to suites that have 4 people, to townhouses and garden apartments. So about 75% of our students live on campus. First year students have some different options for when they're living here. You'll see Robinson and Falconio, Laughlin, and Doyle. We do require that all of our students live on campus through their junior year, and then senior year, if you decide to live off campus, that is completely your choice. But if you want to stay here, you're guaranteed your housing for all 4 years that you're here. Basic setup of each room in each residence hall is you get a bed, desk, chair, dresser, and then closet space of some sort. So in some rooms, it might be a wardrobe. In some other rooms, there might be a built-in closet. It just kind of depends on where you're living. Laundry is free on campus. My senior year house, when I moved off campus, I kind of regret because we had to pay quarters to use our washing machine, and that was not something I was used to. But laundry on campus is free. Campus safety and security is actually attached to Robinson Hall, which is one of the first year residence halls that I was talking about earlier. So they're always there for you. Parking administration's in there, lost and found, all of that good stuff. But any questions about Res Life, feel free to reach out to Katie or myself and we can give you some more specific information, maybe even walk you through a virtual tour, or Katie and I have both done this before. We will be more than happy to FaceTime you and show you what the specifics of each room looks like. Oh, athletics, now we're talking. So you can see here, I'm wearing a cross country shirt, hoodie right now. I ran cross country during my time here, so athletics is something that means a lot to me at Bonaventure, but might mean a lot to all of you as well who are thinking about competing at this level once you go to college. So you'll see our Division I athletic teams here. We all compete in the Atlantic 10 with the exception of men's lacrosse. They are in a different conference because the A10 doesn't have men's lacrosse, but all Division I. And like I said, if Division I isn't something that you want to do, we have those intramural and those club sports as well. The one thing I will say about this slide, though, is unfortunately that's not me in the picture, but I was in the mascot once or twice, and I did run the flag all 4 years at the basketball games. The coolest thing I would say about the mascot, and feel free to look this up on YouTube, I was on Jimmy Fallon, and that's all I will say about it, and you can watch and see what happened. Now we'll get to the good part. So what does the admissions process look like? What do you need to do for the application? Where do you find the application? How long does it take to hear back from us once you knock all these steps out? So first and foremost, we are rolling admit, so that means we don't have a deadline. Katie talked about some of those FHCP programs earlier. Those are the only things that we have deadlines for. So if you're interested in our George Washington MD program or our LECOM DO program, or if you're interested in dentistry, pharmacy, those things, those you have to kind of make sure you're on top of because those are something that are kind of within a certain time frame. But for regular admit, for most of the programs that Katie was talking about earlier, you are free to apply whenever your application is ready. So where can you find that application? Right on our website, sbu.edu, or on the Common App. If you are looking at a few different colleges when that point comes across, feel free to use Common App. It's easier to kind of streamline the process. We don't really have a preference. Both options are free, at least for Bonaventure when you're applying to our school. So within the application, you're going to put in like the basic information, name, parents information, what you're interested in majoring in, those things. As far as materials that we'll need to put your application together and complete it so that we can review it, First, we'll need official transcripts. So that is something that will come directly from your counselor. If you're using Common App, normally you'll put in their information, email address, name. They'll get emailed a link and then they can upload that material. Also, we accept counselors' direct emails with your transcripts. We just have to make sure that it's coming directly from them so that we can consider it official. Next, I will talk about the essay. It's about 250 words, so don't think you're gonna have to write a full book report. And you have a few different prompts you can choose from. So talking about moments of adversity, challenging times you had to overcome, some special moment that happened in your life, any of those things. I normally tell students to use that chance to tell us a little bit more about who you are. So in this setting right here, we're presenting to you, but we don't get to see your faces. We don't get to necessarily have a direct conversation with you. So we might not get the opportunity to get to know who you are just by interacting with you. So use that as your opportunity to tell us, my name is Katie, and this is who I am besides what you're gonna see on my transcripts, besides what you're gonna see in my letters of recommendation, which I will talk about now. You only need one letter of recommendation to complete your application, but send as many as you'd like. I say that within reason. Don't send in like 20 because let's say Katie does that. It's like, okay, Katie, you're great, we get it. But feel free to send in more than one from coaches, employers, counselors, teachers, things like that. And then lastly, test scores. We are officially test optional, so feel free to decide if you want us to consider your test scores or not. If you don't, that is okay. It will kind of change how we're looking at some of those merit scholarships that we'll talk about in the next couple of slides, but it's completely up to you if you decide to do that. When we're looking at grades for admission, for acceptance, we're looking from freshman to junior year, and then we're gonna take your weighted average for those things. And then we also accept AP classes, IB classes, and then some dual credit college classes as well that will transfer in and kind of knock out some of those requirements that you might have when you're coming into college. On this slide here, you'll see it's just some of our averages. So high school GPA is about an 89, which is about a 3.3 out of 4.0 scale. SAT or ACT, 23 for the ACT, 1125 for the SAT. Like I said earlier, we're test optional. So these are just to give you an idea of what our averages are looking like with those different numbers and those different tests. Like I said, they're averages. So we have students who are higher, we have students who are lower than these scores. So we work with our students here at Bonaventure, and that's one of the many perks of going to a smaller school. We have the ability to kind of look at these things and look at the application holistically. What kind of person are you? Is Bonaventure going to be the environment where you can succeed? And we really appreciate and value those different things. And just to kind of give you an idea of where we're coming from with our student population, we have about 25% of our students are from outside of New York State, and then we have 24 foreign countries represented. So a very diverse and continuing to grow population at Bona's. Here are some of the numbers for those merit scholarships I was just talking about a couple of slides ago. So just to go down the list, we have the presidential, which is $25,000 a year. Friars is 24, Provost 22. We have the achievement grant at 17, and then the incentive grant at 9,000. So the range is from 9,000 to 25,000 a year, and these are, as you can see, based on high school GPA or SAT or test scores. Like I said, we're test optional, so if you don't submit those, we're going to look at your high school GPA. We're going to look at the rigor of your courses, things that you're involved in, and kind of look at the whole picture to see what tier you're eligible in for, at least. And then also just some other scholarship opportunities. There are institutional scholarships and grants, and then there's need-based grants as well, which we'll talk about a little more in this next slide. So here, this is a very important slide. So if there's anything you take away from this presentation we're giving you today, let it be at least something revolving around this here. So one, I want you all to pay attention to these two kind of blurbs right here, School A and School B. School A, looking at sticker price alone, okay, $23,000 a year. You know what? That sounds like a school that I was looking at before I ended up picking Bonaventure when it was time for me to decide. And then School B at $45,000 is comparable to what Bonaventure is. So face value, you're like, you know what? I should just go with School A because it's obviously the more realistic, more affordable option. But this is where the FAFSA comes in, which opens October 1 every year. And you can see that right there on the bottom left. please, when you're applying to schools, fill that out, send it in, put all the schools that you're looking at down, and take the time to kind of investigate those numbers a little more. Because once you get that student aid package back, you'll see that some schools aren't what they seem at first, at surface level. So school A, you'll see $6,000 in financial aid, which brings the total cost for you to $17,000. But with school B, financial aid is $31,000, which brings the cost to $3,000 less than school A, which is $14,000. Makes a big difference in the grand scheme of things. So make sure that once you're completing your application, you're not waiting so long to do these things. So I told you that we don't have a deadline. That doesn't mean wait until the last minute. That the sooner the better that you get all these things done, it'll really benefit you. And using myself or Katie or anyone in the admissions office as your kind of backbone and someone to help support you through this process is the best way to go. If you send us a student aid package from another school you're looking at, we can take that to financial aid and say, you know what, let's try to make Bonaventure the place for them. They really like it. We're just a few dollars short of this other school. Let's see if we can do anything. Some other types of aid that I also recommend you look into are outside or private scholarships. So I did some research before coming to Bona's, applied for a few private scholarships and got them. And I got the full amount because there were students who didn't know they existed and they weren't using them. So kind of being on the lookout for those things, using community foundations, your school counselor at your high school to kind of look out for those different opportunities. But like I said, completing the FAFSA regardless is the best bet for you to get the most money that you need, both from the federal government, from the state government, and from Bonaventure as well. With that being said, that is the end of our little spiel here. You can see all of our social media handles here. Feel free to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Check out some cool videos on YouTube. Also check out that Jimmy Fallon video. And then feel free to contact us via email or phone call at that email and phone number at the bottom there.
Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us.
It's been fun.
Okay, thank you, Katie and Duran, for joining us this evening. As you kind of log off here, there will be a quick survey, 4-question survey. So students, please fill it out and look on PACAC's website, sign up for more sessions. And a recording of this presentation will be available within a week afterwards. So if you want to come back and revisit St. Bonaventure, feel free to do so at www.pacac.org/virtual. All right, hope everyone has a great evening.